what are the economics and like what's the actual return on investment when you invest in a kind culture?
Yes. Okay. So this is a big deal. And some people get kindness at work because it's the right thing to be kind to your colleagues. And other people like, let me reach you a different way. There is a financial benefit to being kinder to our colleagues. Kinder. We can't be kind. We can be kinder because people who work at a place where they get along, it's past civility, they will stay longer. Mm-hmm. So you're retaining people you want to retain. And your brand is going to be intact because they're not going to be grousing about you on platforms, right? And people who get along will collaborate more. They feel safe to give their opinion, say, I don't think that's the way we should go, or I think we can do it better. So we are innovating better. We are achieving our goals better, or maybe exceeding them. And if there is a customer, which there always is, now we're talking to better service the customer because maybe the customer has some of the things that I do and some of the things that you do. Now we're talking, and how do we take care of them better? So there is a whole host of reasons why we should be kind to people beyond because it's the right thing to do. People will stay, people will perform, people will innovate, and your brand will be intact. People are going to want to work with you.
Wow. That was a fantastic answer. I think that is exactly what people need to hear to, I guess, understand that that kindness does have an advantage in the workplace. So for someone who, or I guess teams that want to implement this into like their strategy or their culture, what can they do?
Talk about it. I think the best way to do it, a good way to do it, is to whatever meetings you have, offsites, team meetings, be like, can we just carve out some time to just do a check-in on our ways of working? What do we do well? What serves this team? And if we were going to bump it up a few notches, what could that look like? Mm-hmm. Tell me the last time somebody was kind to you. Let's give some kudos around the room. What did they do? How did it make you feel? And people will talk, and the other person feels good. And the people who are just watching start to feel good, and it becomes this ripple effect. So I would talk about it. And then I would look at your processes. Where are you putting kindness in there? Where does it find a place? So if we're going to promote somebody, what does our promotional process look like? Are we looking at how they treat one another? Or it's just like, hey, they're ready for promotion. Based on what? So technical ability, great. How do they treat people? Mm-hmm. How do they move through their workday? How we do succession plans? And even our company values, right? I mentioned this at Disrupt HR. I cannot find the word kind in any company values that I've seen. We acquired a company, like I said earlier, and I did a values map. Their values, ours. Very similar. Most values say very similar things. They had a word called graciousness. I'm like, graciousness? That is one bus stop away from kindness. Why didn't you use kindness? And I couldn't find anybody to answer that question. So I would say, talk about it, use the word, align on what kindness is and what it's not, because some people think it's squishy, mm-hmm. fluffy, weak. It's none of that. Kindness and accountability can coexist. So I would just start checking in. How are we doing? Even one-on-one. Before we get to our task list, tell me what am I doing as your leader that is working for you? And if I could do something different, what would that look like?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
And is this something that you think could be tracked or implemented, or maybe it doesn't even need to be, into like a modern HR software, HRIS? And if so, like how?
Absolutely. All right. So a lot of the things that we do go through HRIS systems, right? Performance reviews, even mid-year check-ins, even people who monitor and log their one-on-ones. So if the software can build in places for the behavioral part of this, so it's usually skill set, but if we can put the behavioral part in there as well, we should be always checking for how people treat one another, because you know how that goes. You get one bad person, one toxic person, and it can really spoil the bunch. People won't stay. Mm-hmm. They will tell people about that manager, and that the company doesn't look good because they're not taking care of it. So wherever you are talking and evaluating people, performance, succession plans, put the behaviors in there. It should be in the system. It should be in the software.